and Rashi. The Torah portion by Yisro. We are in the 5th reading. Let's get right into the readings of the portion. Tomorrow, we're going to receive the Torah, Mount Sinai. Tomorrow's reading. This is all preparation now. Moshe came and he called to the elders of the nation, and he placed before them all of these things that God had commanded him. All of these words he gave. Yanu kolam, so he gave over to the nation, Yachtav, and they all responded, the nation together, and they said, Kol asher diber, everything that he spoke, Hashem, Naseh, we will do. And Moshe returned as divrei the words of the nation of the people, El Hashem to Hashem. He brought back to him. Rashi, Moshe brought back the words of the people. So Rashi picks up on this and he says, Bayayim Hamacharis, on the following day, which is the 3rd day of the month. Remember, they came there Rosh Chodesh. They came the 1st day of the month of Sivan, which is the 3rd month, right? Nisan is when they went out of Egypt, on the 15th of Nisan, which is actually 2 months from today, because today is Tu B'Shvat, the 15th of Shvat, right? So here they are at the foot of Mount Sinai that they came. This is on the 2nd day. They were told that you're going to be a treasured nation and a kingdom of nobles and chosen, special to Hashem. And now he gave over to the people. So they responded, right? So now on the 3rd day, because he went up and he sent it early in the morning, so therefore it's on the 3rd day. So now Rashi said, did Moshe really have to report back to God that God wasn't aware of what the people responded? Had to inform him. But this comes to teach you the proper conduct we learn from an example of Moshe. He didn't say to himself, well, since God knows the response of the people, after all, God knows, obviously. And in Torah Choshev, I don't need to report back. No, he came and he reported back. All right. Same thing when we write into the Ale. I mean, the Rebbe's neshama doesn't know. Of course it knows, but we have to report. That's our job. We have to report back. Verse number 9. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, and Hashem said to Moshe, Hine anechi, behold, I'm coming to you ha'anan, in the thickness of the thickness of the cloud. Ba'avur, in order yishma ha'am b'dabri, in order that the nation should hear me speaking, imach, with you, and gam b'cha, and also in you, yamino li'elam, they will believe in you forever. Yagi Moshe es divrei ha'am el Hashem. And Moshe reported the people's response to God. Right. So what does that mean? Because he just reported. So Rashi will pick up. Okay. Rashi in 9. Ba'av ha'anan. In the thick of the cloud. The ma'aveh ha'anan, in the dense part of the cloud. Zehu arafel. This is the fog. Megam b'cha, and also in you. What do you mean gam? Just, what do you mean also? Just say b'cha yaminu. What does it mean? Also. So Rashi says, doesn't mean just in you. Just like you're a prophet, all the prophets that will come after you, the Jewish people will believe in. Wow, is that powerful? Right. So this is the following day, the 4th of the month, right? Because he went up on the 3rd, gave over. Then this following day, is Divrei Ha'am, he gave over the words of the people. Tshuva al davar zeh shemaiti mehem. I heard from them the response of this matter. Now there's God's statement in the beginning of the verse that the people would be hearing from God himself. Sheritzayim lishmaya mimcha, that they want to hear from you directly. There's no comparison when one hears from the mouth of a messenger compared to hear from the mouth of the king himself. Our wish is to see our king. Wow. Basil, you did the pasuk? You did this pasuk now? I don't know how Rashi got this. How did Rashi get this? That this is the response, right? So it's obviously a response of what was said in the beginning of the verse. That we get because he already responded and told Hashem what they said previously from the second day. So this is from the third day, what was now told, right? That I'm going to come, I'm going to speak to you, and the people will hear, right? How does Rashi know that their response is that we don't want that? We want to hear directly from you. How do you see that in the verse? I don't see it. I don't get it. Okay, verse number 10. Yomer Hashem, and Hashem said, El Moshe Leich, go, El Am to the people, Yidashim Hayayim, and they should sanctify themselves today, Omachar, and tomorrow, Vichibsu Sim Loisam, and they should wash their clothes. Rashi in 10, Yomer Hashem El Moshe, and Hashem said to Moshe, Im Ken Shema Kikim, the Daverimam. Aha. Okay, I guess it's from the continuation over here. This is the way, obviously, Rashi is taking this, but I mean, I'm not certain that still what the, right, since I'm obligated to speak to them, so go to the people and tell them to prepare. Okay, Yikidashim, they have to sanctify themselves as a mountain. Rashi says means to prepare themselves. Shiachino atzmam hayom hamocha, today and tomorrow they have to prepare themselves. Psh. Okay, so we get how Rashi is learning it. Still not why it must be that way. Why can't they sanctify themselves and prepare themselves, even though God's not going to speak to them directly? You know, but so it is. I mean, we still need to. I need to understand. Let them prepare themselves for the third day, because on the third day, Hashem will come down to the eyes of the entire people al Har Sinai on Mount Sinai. Right? This is not to me approved because this is just he's going to appear. He's not speaking. Didn't say anything about speaking over here. Okay, Rashi in 11. And they should be prepared, meaning they have to separate themselves from their wives, and others are not to have marital relations in this preparation. The third day, which is the sixth day of the month. Right? It's 3 days of preparation, 4, 5, and 6 in others. On the fifth day, so the fourth day is at when they were told this, right? On the fifth day, Moshe built an altar at the foot of the mountain, and 12 pillars, called and all of this is dealt with in a previous, in next week's Torah portion. As we know, there's no chronological sequence in the Torah, so this will be fleshed out in next week's Torah portion. Before the eyes of all the people, so that teaches there was no blind person. They were all healed. Wow. Right. At the end of this will be Ani Hashem Rafech. Hashem is our healer. And make a boundary as from the people around. Lamor is saying to them, Hishamru, Beware, beware, be careful. Lachem for yourselves. From ascending on the mountain, and even to touch the edges, right? Anybody who will touch the mountain will die. Well, Baltus at the boundaries, he fixed the limits as a sign. That they should not approach beyond the boundary. Lamar Hagbul who the boundary says to them, guard yourself from ascending the mountain beyond this point. And you have to warn them regarding this. Touching the edge, even the edge they should not touch. 13. By the way, we're purchasing the Chitas books, so we'll have the entire Chitas. It's almost 3,000 pages. You know, we're gonna get a bunch of them here, so that way you can follow easily. You know, in a book. Yeah, actually, Henry's sponsoring it. Yeah, very nice. Oh la 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 la. Thank you. Okay. All right. Copy, sir. Thank you. Okay, 13. We're good? Amazing. Lo yisiga boy, don't touch it. Biyad, yad, a hand. Yisakil. Ooh. Because he'll be stoned. Or you'll be cast down. Ima behema. Ish, whether it's an animal or a person. Lo yichim will not die, will not live. When the ram's horn is sounded, hema yala bahar, then you may ascend the mountain. Right? Otherwise, you can't ascend. A lot of warnings over here. We see that. You know where there's a lot of warnings? Whenever there's a lot of holiness. Like the Holy of Holies, you can only come on Yom Kippur, and only the Kohen Gadol, right? And if he has thoughts that are extraneous, he dies there, right? A lot of boundaries. The holier things get, yeah. Okay, Rashi. He should be cast down. From here, we learn that those who are sentenced to the court to be stoned, they're pushed down from the stoning place. Because it's the height, the two heights of a man, like two floors, right? And they're cast down. You're cast down. Yushlach lamata la'aretz, thrown down to the ground. As the phrase is cast down into the sea. The blast of the ram's horns is drawing out. When the ram's horn will draw out a long blast, that is a sign. That the departure of the divine presence, the Shekhinah, and the ending of the voice, meaning God's voice. And once the Shekhinah has departed, they're permitted to ascend the mountain. The ram's horn. Who shrefa shel ayel? This is he says a horn of a ram. Shekain be'aravia keden ledichra yuvla. In Arabia, they call yuvla a shofar. The shofar shalilan shaliz lakayan. The shofar of right. 14. Yerid Moshe Allah min ahar, and Moshe went down from the mountain Elam to the nation. He kaddish Sa'am, and he prepared the nation. And they washed their clothes. Min ahar from Elam, right? Why is it telling us from the mountain to the people? Melamed, this teaches he did not go to his own personal business, Elaminahar, but from the mountain, Elam, to the people. Interesting on this from the Sikh on the Rebbe. And he said to the people, be prepared for 3 days. In other words, ready yourself for the 3-day period. And do not approach a woman, meaning don't have marital relations. Now he's giving over what God said to him previously, right? Rashi. That's what it means. But here, they didn't have a mikvah, so it was like probably Tisha Kabim. Probably they were thrown like water came upon them. I don't think they had a mikvah for this, to my understanding at least. 15. Oh, they prepare ready themselves for their 3-day period. Let's say at the end of the 3 period, which is the 4th day. So he's saying 3-day preparation, but really it was 3 days. On the 3rd day, God will reveal himself. So he added a day through his own understanding. God said that revelation would take place on the 3rd day, but Moshe understood that God wanted him to add an extra day for preparation. That's how I understand. This is according to the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, and according to that, then, when was the 10 Commandments given? On the 7th of Sivan, which is not when we celebrate Shavuos, right? That's according to the Rabbi Yossi, that opinion. But according to the opinion that the Torah was given on the 6th of Sivan, Moshe did not add anything. And so it doesn't mean prepare for 3 days. It means get prepared for the 3rd day. Because on the 3rd day, God will reveal yourself. So there's an argument on how you understand that. Amen. Al tigshu. Isha, do not come close to approach a woman. All these 3-day period, so that the women will immerse themselves on the 3rd day. So it says immerse himself. Taivlis means immerse. I'm wondering how that was. Okay, but Tahar is the Kabbalah of Torah, that they should be richly pure in order to receive the Torah, the men and the women. Because if they'll have relations within the 3-day period of the giving of the Torah, maybe she would have a discharge of semen from after her immersion, and she would become impure again. But she waited 3 days without having relations. The semen becomes dissolved, it becomes putrid, and it's not fit for any type of fertilization after 3 days. The Talmud is piletus, and the pure regarding the discharge is pure. Okay. 16. And it was on the 3rd day. When it was morning, meaning dawn. So this is interesting. How does Rashi bring in the opinion of Rabbi Yossi that it was on the 4th day, when here it says on the 3rd day, all of a sudden, now we have lightning, thunder, and it's starting the giving, it sounds like it's the beginning of giving the Torah. It's not on the 4th day. How's this learned? According to Rabbi Yossi, that Rashi brought down earlier. I don't get it. So Vehikailis, and there was thunder, uvrakim, and lightning, anan, kaved, and a heavy, thick cloud, alahar, on the mountain. The kail, the shofar, and the blast of the shofar, chazak, was very strong. And the nation the people were frightened, that were in the camp. Rashi in 16. When it was becoming morning, this teaches us that God came to the mountain before they did. Which is not the manner of flesh and blood to do so. The Talmud that the teacher should wait for the student. In other words, God came there, right? This is all God revealing himself at the mountain before the people even came. Maybe that's what he is alluding to. Could be. Let's see further. Yeah, good point. Likewise, we find that God waits for man. So it says in Ezekiel, arise, go out to the valley, and I rose and went out to the valley. Yechezkel says, and the glory of Hashem was standing there. In other words, it's already there. Okay? But Moshe went out, Ela'am, to the people, Likras Elikim, to greet the divine presence. That's interesting. Mina Machra, from the encampment, and their places were at the foot of the mountain. So that's how Rashi knows, because previously he said God came first, right? Now the people came, God's there, so they came to greet him. He came there first. Likras Elikim, towards God. Magi Shechina Yotza Likrosam, that tells us the Shechina, divine presence, went towards them. Like the bridegroom goes out to greet his bride. And this is what it says in the verse. That Hashem came from Sinai. It says later on in Devarim. And it doesn't say he came to Sinai, but he came from Sinai. That's like the groom who comes to greet the bride. God is the groom and we are the bride. Takti Sahar, under the mountain, simple meaning means at the foot of the mountain, but the midrashic explanation is that the mountain was plucked from its place, and it was held over them like a tub, saying, okay, either accept or just, here will be your resting place. Why Rashi brings us here and he explains it and doesn't give any explanation to it. And why is it necessary to say this? Tachtis Ahar, underneath the mountain. Because Tachtis Ahar, it should say Keneged Ahar. Earlier we had, when they came on Rosh Chodesh, it says Neged Ahar. It says oppose the mountain, and next to the mountain. Right. There Rashi also brings out, should have said Eitzel Ahar. It says Neged. But even Neged or Eitzel, at least it's there. You're in front of it, you're across from it, right? Tachtis Ahar literally means under the mountain. How are you under the mountain? You're next to it. So the simple meaning is at the foot of the mountain, but it shouldn't say that. It should say Eitzel Ahar. Or Ragle Ahar, the foot of the mountain, right? Uses that term. But here's Tachtis. So if you read it literally, and that's what the Midrash is actually in a sense literal. That's why Rashi brings it as an explanation. It means literally under the mountain. 18. Yeah? Bahar Sinai, Oshan Kulai, and the Mount Sinai was completely smoking. If they right? Mipnei asher yared alav Hashem. Why? Because he came down upon it, God, be'esh, in a fire. Vial Shonai, and it ascended the smoke, Ka'osh and Akivshan, like a smoke of a kiln. He says a lime kiln. Okay. And the entire mountain quaked violently. Rashi in 18. Oshan Kula, it was completely, entirely smoking. Ein Ashan says Shem David is. Ashan is not a noun. So he's going through some grammar here. Alashan and Paul, but it's a verb, third person singular past tense. Shamar v'shama, he guarded, he listened. The kaftar with the tanan kule. Nana loy tirgim tanana chol ashan shebimikra. Okay, next Rashi. Kivshan. That was grammar. Kivshan, the lime pit. Shel sid. This is made. This is used for baking, the baking of lime to make bricks. You might think that the smoke of the Mount Sinai was like that of a lime pit and no more. However, the verse comes to say, that the mountain was burning to the the heart of heavens, it says later on in Deuteronomy, is much greater than the lime furnace. Matam the Kivshan. So why is the Torah says the smoke? The mountain was like a lime pit. The Shabbat is Ma Shehi Yachal Lishma. This is explained in a way that we can understand it in human terms. This gives to people a sign that they're familiar with, right? Ari Yishag. In other words, God, using a language that we're familiar with. This is similar to a reference where where it says about God that He will roar like a lion, right? Did God roar like a lion? Does it mean smoke, till like a lime pit? It's just, some kind of parable that we can have that we can appreciate. And who gave the strength of the lion to be able to roar? Obviously, God did. So therefore, the verse compares God to a lion. The lion represents the ultimate roar in human terms. So we compare him to his creatures. We compare God to his creatures because that's something we can understand. Right? It's in our realm. Are similar to this, that his voice is like the sound of many waters. That he is the one who gives, it is he who gives the waters sound, but God, he's the one. Okay, same idea. Final verse. Vayikol HaShofar, and it was the blast, the sound of the shofar. Haylech went, B'chazak made and very strong. Moshe Yadaber, and Moshe spoke, B'alakim Yana B'kel, and God responded with his mortal voice by amplifying his voice. Right, to the weakness, right, because Rashi 19. It grew continuously much stronger. The manner of ordinary man is as long as he blows the shofar, the sound gets weaker and fainter, right? The more you blow the shofar as a human being, your strength of your blast gets weaker. But here it continues got greater and stronger. Why was it first weaker? In order that their ears apprehend that which they're able to hear. In other words, not too loud, so that way you'll be able to take it on some level. Yeah, be able to take it. Right, okay. Moshe spoke. Moshe would speak and cause the Jewish people to hear the commandments of God. Because they only heard the first two commandments. I'm the Lord your God, and the second one, there should be no other gods before you. Right? The God helped and assisted him, that giving him the strength that his voice would become stronger and more audible when the other 8 commandments were given. Yanu B'Kel, that would respond to him in a voice, means Yanu Dvar Hakel, he would respond to him over the matter of the voice. Regarding the fire, matter of fire, to make it descend.
So is this Moshe speaking to Klal Israel? Is that the reason why his voice was amplified?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, we'll see you shortly. Bye, Tanya.